The next gun is it's an unusual gun. It's not a gun you'll come across in the shops. It's called it's a copy of a gun made by a company called Noveske Rifle Works. Everybody in airsoft will probably be heard of a Noveske flash hider, which is really a kind of a sound hog. Well, these were the company that made that, but they also produce armaments and AEGs. But this particular one is just one I took upon myself to make. I did a bit of research on it, and as you see, what I've come up with is a CQB version, 7.25 Noveske style front flash hider. It's a Noveske 7-inch outer barrel.
That is some sweet gun. Now, we've been talking about getting into a bit of CQB lately, and I have to say, oh, I love this. This is just awesome. I love the different sort of setup. It just looks so different from a normal M4. It's a lot shorter.
Well, everything you did. The nice thing about this one, Jerry, is that we'll say, compared to your Stoner rifle, it's a fantastic rifle. It's much more traditional. This is slightly different. As I says, we have a genuine copied front rail system. As you can see, we have the proper sights, flip-up sights, complete with Noveske trademarks, your flash hider, same with the rear sight. You can see your outer receiver. Now I have set this up with a small LiPo battery that I managed to mod into the back of this, called an Ace SOCOM retractable stock. It's quite cute. People like it.
It's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, well, people like it, but again, it is a genuine copy of a real armament stock, but they call it an Ace SOCOM stock, and it's
see,
extendable.
And that's what I think, you know, people want in airsoft, is something a little bit different from the norm.
Yeah, something different.
And as a CQB shooter, that is absolutely gorgeous. Now, can you take off the back and show me where the battery goes?
I would if I had a screwdriver.
Okay, so it's one of those jobs.
But basically, it's quite simple. I did have to do a little modification. I take off that screw, turn that sideways, that'll come off, and my little battery will come out.
Grand. And that's a LiPo in there?
It's a 1000 milliamp 20C LiPo.
Now, will you do me a favour?
Sure.
Will you shoot it?
Shoot it.
Let's have a look.
Why not? Let's hope it shoots. I have no doubt. As you say, CQB. Well, it should be shooting about 320 foot, so FPS. There's single now. Again, I have no MOSFET, but you can almost hear the trigger response.
Yeah, very crisp again.
And I'll just give you a little shot of full auto. I haven't chronoed how many BBs she does a second. I don't really go in for that. I just go for an average, and I'd say maybe 18, 20. I don't know.
Very nice.
But yeah, a very nice gun, as I say, very, very unusual.
Very different.
You won't find it in the shops, I'll put it that way.
It's very different looking. And I think that's, again, is one of the biggest points of airsoft for me, is to do something a bit different, away from the norm.
Again, it's a custom built gearbox, built from the inside up.
So what's in it? Can you remember?
Well, I've used, as far as I remember, I've used the 9mm bearings. I like to use big bearings for high rate of fire, because if you're a little bit trigger happy, a small bearing, 7mm bearing, bit weak, because there's particularly on the spur gear, which is the middle gear. We won't get too technical, but suffice it to say there's a lot of pressure on that. The bigger the bearing, the more the load is spread out. Internally, it's G&P gears, short stroke again, but this time by 2.
So 2 teeth taken out of the
you have 14 teeth on your
sector gear,
and 13 on the piston.
Right.
And you got to do that properly. You got to take them off the proper ones. You don't just take them off nilly-willy. Again, not necessary, but the reason I can take 2 off this is because I have a 7-inch barrel. The fact of having a 7-inch barrel means that I don't need as much air pumping out of the gun to project the BB out.
Brilliant.
That's my Noveske.
Very, very nice.
Yes, kind of like myself, if I don't mind saying. I'll leave that for a minute.